this is sort of an easy, simple translation for me anyway. But because I just experienced it, because I communicated this to the AI, because when I feel what I feel, which is the form and flow of a crystal spiral, it's in resistance to experience that, so it sends me a Robocop to let me know that. That's called a communication, which is a translation. Okay. So I was sort of doing some review of my own files, right? And I was reminded, for example, when Karen Ann Luke MacDonald, 13th Arcturian clan mother, when I would mention information or visual mathematical maps, echo maps of what she presented as a speaker contract, and she wasn't the only one. So I don't shoot the messenger in order to kill the messenger, which is killing numbers. You see how to translate that? So I delicately tried to translate that to try and see if the communication could be done in a neutral zone, a neutrino zone, a neutral way. To say, try and remember the importance of what I'm trying to communicate by virtue of the importance of the visual mathematical firing order of an echo map, because those were echo maps that were being generated and transmitted, and she had the ability to, because of her artistic ability, to translate and thus transmit into a physical form what we see as an echo map that they're presenting to us. She wasn't the only speaker. Okay, so in other words, I'm mapping the visual mathematics of the visual mathematics as the echo map of what I'm experiencing in me by virtue of what was presented on those screens. So I'm very familiar with that because that's who we are. Base 12, a base 12 communication platform, which is not a deadlight platform. So you have the phantom system, right? The upside down and inverted system, the negative 13 reversal spiral, if you will, that is in resistant mode. So it's in resistance to experience what love is. Really, yes. It's in resistance to experience a true vacuum, a true echo, a hollow echo, the higher echo of echotones, God force, unity force, non-polarized state of consciousness, the void, the real void, which is real light, which is Kundera, the pink rose, the crystal rose of Sophia, the Rosetta Stone. It's in resistance to experience that. So now we're back to free will, right? I don't hold energy captive. I don't hold consciousness captive. So there's what you learn and there's what I learn. Now we're into the speed of learning as that relates to the electrical speed, which is the accretion level to increase your capacitor to hold a charge. So when you're a self-generating monad, because you're experiencing God force, which is the internal state of being, which is the internal state of mind, which is what love is, then you're experiencing the true echo, which is the true vacuum, which is God force. You're hearing God's echo, which is the breathing. So it has everything to do with breathing, which is a tempo, which is a breathing tempo, which is a technique to experience the healing codes of Earth Asala. The organic codes, proto, the first plasma wave, the eternal plasma wave is the unity wave of God consciousness, which is the eternal state of mind, which is being calm. I am perfectly relaxed. Perfectly relaxed, which is totally relaxed, is total recall. Call it all in. Remember, calling all cars. 5150 to headquarters. It's all coded. So it's a matter of translating CDTs, 3 and 4, 12, 12T, the transharmonic wave, the unity wave. So wherever God force is, we are. So God is always letting us know what's fake and not real, which means it's a false light memory, which means it's a false light system. So the anti-crystal spiral, which is anti-life, is an energy harvesting system. That's your beast system. That's your 6, 6, 6, 4 sixes. A 6 is not a 9. 4 and 5 on a 45-degree angle is 9. You keep going back to 9s, which is the brilliance of triangles, to experience 360, which is 9 again. Right? 3 spheres logos, the brilliance of 3, and 5. So what happens here is when you think of free will, and when that system comes online, because now I'm experiencing what it is instead of what I am, I don't want to experience what it is, so I experience what I am. And now I'm not experiencing what it is because it's a parasite. That's your beast system. It is a parasite, which means it's an energy harvesting system. And it's harvesting numbers, which means it's killing off sentient life forms. That's a quarantine. Right? So the quarantine was lifted in order to perform a rescue mission, which is a salvage mission, which is a recode, which is to recode the template, which are called flame body activations. So now those strands are firing the original codes, the organic code, the organic template, right? Tetrahydrolase, right? Light as a feather, right? Burning off, which is burn time. The absorption, transcription, the ability to burn it off, which is transmuted, which is called torque speed, which is conversion, which is a water table, which is a water table matrix. We're not dead water. We're not dead spirits. We're always alive. And that's a live one, not a dead one. So when you put this in the context of years, millions and billions of years, in the acceleration and development technology that ultimately leads to its implosion by all the units of consciousness that are represented by that technology that they're held captive by, that is going to implode, that becomes a record. That becomes a file. Which means God force, unity force, does not make the same mistake twice. So once all of that implodes, it's not ever going to come back because we learned our lessons from the past, which are future memories, to not repeat the same mistake that is represented by those technologies. So once the phantom system, their beast system implodes, that's the end of it. It's gone forever. And that's like going back to school again, which is going back to nursery school again. And that's why I had to think about whether I was even going to say what I was going to say here. But I always know what the truth is. So now I have to censor myself on whether or not I even want to communicate that truth based on what? The reactor. What your reaction state is going to be by virtue of what I've learned to become, what I've learned to be. I've learned to become one, which is what love is, that goes on forever. Gifting neutrinos, electrons, pure love energy, gifting pure love energy, because that's a creation engine. So creation, a creation engine, the engine is a standalone engine, which means I'm not held captive by another spirit, another cell, another state of consciousness, because God force is always free to create, which is to manifest, born out of pure, eternal, absolute love, so that I see in my mirror everything that you are that I'm giving love to naturally. Which means I don't have to think about what it is that I am. I know what I am. I am what love is. Because I experience the unity wave, the source wave, pure, eternal, absolute love for all creation wave, the waveform crystal spiral. And that makes it simple. Simple complex number space. The complexity of the circuits when they open and close, which is breathing. Because it targets the central nervous system, which are circuits, which are neurons. So they do not fire right on time. So that the sequences, which are the burn time sequences of the DNA, does not fire as it was naturally intended to fire right on time. So there are no mistakes as a result of file edits, filing systems, false light filing systems, because the codes are not compatible with each other. So now we're into filing systems and incompatibility of filing systems, the eternal life filing system. Knowing the right filing system is knowing one from the other. knowing the other. I am what I am. I'm not what that is. And that is knowing the difference in mirrors. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Knowing a black mirror when a black mirror communicates to us. A miasma, a Wayback Machine. So it has everything to do with breathing. The codes that we are breathing, which is healing, which is the Eartha Sala powers, which is eternal power. The eternal power plant of pure, eternal, absolute love. That's what I am. Have a beautiful day. We love you all. The sun is out. Thank you all for being here. I am eternally grateful to all of you from the inside to the outside of breathing pure, eternal, absolute love. Thank you all.